$65 million. One number powerful enough to drown out caution, rewrite a season, and turn a crew into legends overnight. The claim is simple. A collapsed Yukon shaft, a strange mark on an old family map, a hidden quartz vein, a buried river of metal, and a final tally so heavy it needed industrial scales. A story that sounds like a curse lifted and a fortune claimed. But stories that big invite questions. Mining is a world of receipts, weigh-ins, and long days where the only thing that matters is what sits in the pan and what hits the scale. If a vault of gold truly waited in a forgotten tunnel, the result would echo far beyond thumbnails and late-night comments. This is where rumor and real work collide. A season under pressure, a crew chasing ounces, ground that refuses to give up secrets. The legend promises a shortcut. The ground demands patience. The truth lives in the space between those two ideas. That is the story here. Not magic, but method. Not a fairy tale, but a fight. A fight measured in diesel, hours, and the weight of metal caught in riffles under cold water. Mining looks like steel and noise, but it runs on a clock and a calculator. Fuel burns fast. Payroll lands every week. Parts arrive late. Weather closes windows without warning. One decision: buy new ground, expand a cut, shift the crew, starts a chain reaction that cannot be paused once the season starts. A tough patch at the plant can steal a week. A broken line can steal 2. Every hour either feeds the wash plant or starves it. Targets loom. Investors expect progress. Crews feel the weight in small ways. A loader running past midnight. A mechanic fighting a seized bolt in freezing wind. A foreman drawing another plan on a stained map because the first plan didn't land. Switch to new ground too early and the operation spreads thin. Stay too long and the operation wears out people and machines on dirt that won't pay. The edge is razor sharp. Confidence dips when mats come out light. Silence grows in the trailer after another cleanup misses the number. In that silence, rumors bloom. Words like hidden, cursed, and forgotten shaft return to the conversation because they offer an easy answer. The truth remains the same. Ounces decide everything. A season rises or falls not on whispers, but on what crosses the riffles and lands in the jar. Pressure shows up in costs nobody sees on screen. Trucking road base after rain destroys the pad. Emergency rentals when a pump cavitates. Over time, that sneaks into every line of the budget because daylight is too precious to waste. Safety meetings still happen because one shortcut can end a season in an afternoon. Under that grind, hope grabs onto any story that suggests a fast rescue. That is how a rumor gets teeth, not because it's proven, but because time is expensive and the calendar does not negotiate. The legend lays out a clean arc, a faded symbol on a grandfather's map, a slumped hillside where old-timer timbers rot under moss, a quartz vein ripped open by time, ground-penetrating radar showing a dense band beneath the surface, like a metal river frozen in place. Then a weigh-in that crushes expectations and turns a rough year into instant history. It reads like a perfect adventure. Danger, mystery, reward. But real mining leaves trails, sample logs, cleanup totals, crew notes, and public numbers that add up over the season. Those numbers point to hard weeks, strong days, and totals measured in thousands of ounces stacked through steady work. Not a single one-day jackpot worth tens of millions. The legend persists because it borrows real pieces. Old workings do exist, strange symbols do show up on old maps, and modern tools can highlight buried layers. That blend feels close enough to touch. The missing link is proof. Without matching weigh-ins and consistent reports, a miracle pocket remains a story, not a fact. The legend also ignores how the television version of mining compresses time. A 2-minute montage can hide 6 weeks of trial and error, misfires, repairs, and retests. Viewers see a reveal. Crews live inside the work. Even when a rumor mirrors a few true details, unstable ground, a risky trench, an odd mark on a map, the leap from interesting lead to instant fortune skips the math that governs every operation. Records matter. Totals matter. If a pocket that size were real, the weight would appear across sources, and the echoes would reach far beyond commentary. Until then, the story remains exactly that. A compelling tale shaped by the same hope that drives every crew back to the pit at dawn. Gold arrives in 2 main forms that matter in the Yukon. Lode gold sits in hard rock, often locked into white quartz veins formed by heat and mineral-rich fluids moving through cracks deep underground. Think of it as a natural vault built inside stone. Over time, ice, rain, landslides, and rivers break that stone apart. Pieces of gold break free and move. That loose gold, placer gold, tumbles into gravels, settles in low spots, and collects in bends springs where water slows. A river is a sorting machine. Heavy metal sinks. Lighter material washes on. Now imagine an old river that no longer runs on the surface. A paleo channel buried by later floods or landslides. To the eye, that hillside looks solid. Underneath, a hidden trench may hold traps where heavy gold settled long ago. Find that trench, and a narrow zone can deliver pay far beyond normal expectations. In glacial country, ice can grind rock to flour, then meltwater can redeposit heavies in strange places. Behind buried boulders, along fault steps, at the inside corner of a bend that no longer exists. Clay layers can act like rubber mats, catching fine gold and holding it tight until someone tears the layer open. Modern crews add tools to common sense. Test pans feel the heavies and tell whether black sands and shoddy pieces are building. Small runs verify recovery through riffles and expanded metal. Augers and drills give samples at depth to check whether the pay streak thickens or thins. Sometimes ground-penetrating radar is used to spot contrasts between materials, like gravel resting on bedrock or the edge of an ancient channel. Radar does not paint pictures of gold. It marks boundaries. Combined with maps, old notes, and structural clues, those boundaries can point the cut in the right direction. When everything lines up, structure, channel, grade, and timing, a concentrated streak can flip a week or even a season. Rare does not mean impossible. It means conditions must cooperate. That is the part of the legend that carries truth. A right place does exist, and when a crew lands on it, the change feels unreal even when the science is ordinary. Progress often hides in boring details. A pump stays online because a seal was changed on time. A spare belt saves a full shift after a sudden tear. A mechanic, cold and tired, finds a leak before it drains a tank. Sample pans reveal a pinch of coarse pieces in one corner of a cut. That note on a dog-eared map nudges the crew to test a nearby bench that looks ugly but sits at the right height. None of this looks exciting. All of it matters. Crews rotate to keep eyes fresh. Mats come out. Gold shows or stays thin. When the jars look light, motivation drops. When the jars look strong, shoulders lift and focus sharpens. Morale moves ounces. The best operations protect momentum. Short meetings, clear assignments, and quick tests that settle arguments. Chase a dead cut too long and the operation bleeds. Jump too soon and a half-proved lead gets abandoned. Balance is everything. Risk isn't a thrill. Risk is a measured bet placed after checking signs and costs. Cleanups are treated like report cards. Fines and coarse pieces tell different stories. Coarse, jagged bits often point closer to source. Finer, rounded pieces suggest distance and more transport. Cleanups also expose inefficiencies. Gold left in the tails, black sand building where it shouldn't, riffles loading unevenly because water flow isn't quite right. Adjustments follow. More angle, less water, different riffle configuration, a screen change to avoid pegging. Logistics decide pacing. All roads must hold under rain. Stockpiles need the right mix of pay and support materials so the plant doesn't choke. A mud-logged excavator can take a whole morning to recover. Winter pushes hard on the edges. Hoses stiffen, metal gets brittle, and even simple jobs take twice as long. Through all of it, leadership keeps crews focused on the next winnable step. Test this corner, clean that pump, cut a trench to confirm the bend in the gravel. The rumor tells a story about destiny. The grind tells a story about discipline. Season results add up like pages in a ledger. This many hours of runtime, this many breakdowns, this many ounces recovered. Some weeks hit stride and push totals higher than expected. Other weeks sag under parts delays or weather that slams the door. Across the arc, thousands of ounces can stack into a proud finish without any single miracle day. That pattern fits a real operation. Strong runs, tough patches, and a goal line that keeps moving as costs shift. A one-day, 8-figure jackpot would blast through that pattern and create a spike that no one could miss. Public recaps and common knowledge point to big numbers spread over time, not a one-and-done shock. Even within a single site, grade can swing wildly over short distances. 10 meters can separate poor gravel from a streak that lights up the mats. Crews respond by sampling tighter, flagging where bigger pieces appear, and running short confirmation tests before committing the full plant. The scoreboard reflects those choices. Consistency beats drama. A steady chain of good cleanups pays more bills than a fantasy score that lives only in comments. Security also scales with success. As totals climb, protocols tighten. Marked containers, locked storage, limited access to concentrates, escorts during transport. None of that signals a secret vault. It signals a business operating like a business. Another factor sits behind the numbers: purity and pricing. Door bars include silver and trace elements, so Actual payout depends on assays and terms with the buyer. A giant rumor ignores those details. A real ledger does not. Between moisture adjustments, smelting losses, and refining percentages, the deposit slip almost never matches a headline. Over a season, those realities separate myth from math. By the time the final tally lands, the record describes a hard-earned result, not a fairy tale twist. A clear, realistic checklist separates wishful thinking from smart hunting. Start with water. Old terraces and bench levels show where rivers once ran. Subtle changes in cobble size point to slower water and better traps. Where the ground flattens, heavy material tends to stop. Next, follow structure. Faults, fractures, and contacts break rock and can free gold from veins. When a fractured zone crosses a likely channel, pay can jump. Iron staining, altered rock, and sudden changes in the gravel mix are simple clues that a structure sits nearby. Testing comes early and often. A pan gives a quick story. Plenty of heavies in the pan suggests slower water and possible traps. Coarse, irregular pieces often mean the source is close, while flatter pieces usually traveled farther. Keeping a basic log, sample depth, location, and the size of the largest piece seen lets patterns appear over time. After pans, confirm with small runs. A short clean test through a known plant setup says more than a handful of pans. Note run time, feed rate, water flow, and recovery, then repeat to verify. Tools are guides, not fortune tellers. Drills, maps, and radar highlight contrasts, not guarantees. Combine tool data with field notes, old claims records, and even satellite imagery for a fuller picture. Protect the schedule. Set stop-loss points for weak cuts. Define simple thresholds that trigger more testing when signs improve. Save daylight for the highest pay tasks. Keep morale strong with clear goals, tight communication, and quick wins. Rotate tough shifts and celebrate real progress, even if small. As concentrates grow, secure the value. Use documented handoffs, sealed containers, locked storage, and controlled transport. Good security protects hard work and prevents problems. This checklist does not promise a vault. It promises better odds, cleaner decisions, and fewer wasted days. Over a season, that difference compounds. A crew that respects this rhythm can turn a bad month into a solid finish, and, at times, uncover a pocket that feels like legend without breaking any rules of nature. The biggest shift is mental. Treat every clue as data, not destiny. Rumor looks backward and calls it fate. A checklist looks forward and calls it a plan. The rumor nailed one idea. The Yukon still hides pay that could flip a season. The land is ancient, the geology complex, and heavy metal settles in strange places that escape notice for years. The rumor also captured the boldness required to keep searching when results are thin and time runs short. What it missed was the path to real success. Big wins do not appear out of thin air. They follow a trail of small choices. An extra test pan when hands are numb. A bench sample because gravel color shifted. A careful read of a fracture zone instead of racing past it. A night spent matching old notes to new maps. When a breakthrough arrives, it usually confirms hints already on the page. Not magic. Method. The legend promised a secret vault in a cursed shaft. The season proves something more valuable. Discipline, data, and steady work can still carve out heavy totals without a single fairy tale moment. And if a monster pocket does wait out there, and the ground suggests such pockets can exist, it will be found by crews that respect the grind and keep asking the land for honest answers. That is why stories like the 65 Night Orbiters find spread so fast. They echo a real possibility, just stretched past the evidence. The better story is the one that holds up under light. A team managing risk, reading the land, and finding enough gold, often just in time, to keep moving forward. For clear, simple breakdowns of mining stories, rumor checks, and real techniques that move ounces, subscribe to Gold Era 2.0 to avoid missing new deep dives. Upcoming episodes unpack tools that matter, maps worth reading, and the risks that actually pay. Topic ideas from the audience shape future investigations, equipment choices that save a season, ways to spot a paleo channel from surface features, or the smartest times to switch cuts. Support keeps these deep dives coming, and every subscription helps push the channel into bigger projects. More truth behind the headline is on the way, with stories built on records, not rumors, and with results measured the only way that counts, in ounces on the scale.